Alright, hey, Shalom. Before I start off, like the first and foremost, give all honor, glory, and praise to our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, B'chakudash. Double honor to our apostles and elders, great millstone, taught us the truth, and rule well, and all the true leaders of the nation of Israel, which consist of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, as well as you speckled bird Israelite foreigners scattered abroad. To the hopeful elect, do say Shalom. All right, and pretty much, I wanted to touch on a situation with this individual that you see right here in the thumbnail, Ronnie Hinton Jr. Okay, which he was pretty much brought into custody. All right, after killing the deputy. Following his son being fatally shot by the police. Okay. Which you got a lot of outrage in the so-called black community over his hearing. Okay, and even during his hearing, all right, there was a lot of tension in the courtroom. All right. You had all them Ohio police, a bunch of Edomites that attended the hearing as well. And this guy, he was in the courtroom just mean mugging the hell out of him. All right. But what all this shows is that there's a ongoing tension that persists between Jake and Esau. All right. And now, Jake is kind of taking things into his own hands. All right. Which is Judah being roused up. Okay. And I remember how the elder brothers have always said how most of the chaos that's getting ready to be seen in America will be started by Jake's. Okay. Because as Judah is being roused up, the rest of the tribes are going to follow. Scriptures talk about Gad. A troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. All right. Because, Judah is the head tribe. And as you have Trump and his current administration issuing forth all these harsh policies, as long as those things prolong and things get harder, a lot of 2/3 Jakes are going to lose it. All right. But I'm going to read a little bit on this and grab a few scriptures. But it says, Ronnie Hinton Jr. Accused of intentionally running over and killing a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy just days after his son was shot by Cincinnati police, has been ordered held without bond as he awaits trial for aggregated murder. In a court hearing Tuesday, Judge Tyrone Yates issued the no bond order, citing public safety concerns and the need for a mental health evaluation. There will be an order of remand with no bond. Please assure the safety of the defendant and any mental health treatment that can be granted, he stated per CNN. Hinton Jr. is facing a charge of aggravated murder in connection with Deputy Larry Henderson's death. During the hearing, his attorney, Clyde Bennett II, entered a not guilty plea on his behalf and petitioned the court for bail. The charge stems from the May 2nd death of Henderson, who was struck by a vehicle authorities say Hinton Jr. was driving. The fatal incident occurred after Hinton Jr. had watched the body camera footage of his son, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton, being fatally shot by police. All right, so Jake is pretty much tired of this devil, man. All right. Which, Jake has undergone a lot of oppression by way of Esau. All right. Which even predates chattel slavery. Which a lot of Jake isn't privy to, but as Jake and Esau have always struggled there even since their inception in the womb. All right, the Matrix. You know, that struggle is still seen. All right, and these devils, now that their kingdom is drawn to a close, you're starting to see their horns show forth, man. All right, that perpetual hatred that they've had toward our people, since their progenitor, all right, gave up his birthright, all right, and was supplanted for his blessing. You know, and they're going back to that you know, that old, 1930s type hate towards Jake, you know. But it says officers said Ryan was fleeing from a stolen car and appeared armed, although the exact moment he allegedly pointed a gun is not visible in the video. There's no indication that Deputy Henderson was involved in Ryan's shooting, nor that Hinton Jr. had any prior connection to him. Right? And there was a whole GoFundMe that was started, or I think a couple, for this dude Ronnie Hinton Jr.'s bail, something like that, which the Ohio police, the Fraternal Order of the Police of Ohio, they sent letters in and had them all taken down. Look at that, man. All Edomites minus the coon ass Jake in the back, you know. Genesis 49:9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couches a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? All right. So the Lord is having Judah, being roused up, man. Being being roused up. All right, and you're gonna see these race wars take effect, man, because that's the, it's like a buildup to this tension escalating into Isaiah 19:2. You know, the Lord setting the Egyptians against the Egyptians. All right, these modern day Americans. 2nd Ezra 6:24. Friends fighting one another like enemies. 2nd Ezra 15:15 even. Sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Elsewhere it says Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Isaiah 19:17, and the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he had determined against it. You know, the Lord has determined punishment for this place, America, aka Babylon the Great. All right, the plagues that the Lord hit ancient Egypt with, he said that you would bring upon America, and plus some. You know, you're gonna have chaos in the streets, people going at it. You know, pestilences, famine, tribulation, and anguish. All right, up until the ultimate plague, which is the thermonuclear missiles. So this is the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter, and the second verse. And it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. All right. Modern day Egypt, pursuing Revelation 11:8. This place, America, was likened unto spiritual Sodom and Egypt. All right, because this is the land of our captivity. Okay. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, these Americans. And it says that the Lord would turn these Americans against one another. All right. And they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Right? Which Yahweh Shai even prophesied in the book of Matthew. That you would have kingdom against kingdom. Matthew 24:6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. All right. So Yahweh Shai prophesied that we'd be seeing what we see now. These wars, you know, escalating tensions between the nations. All right. These proxies being fought leading up to this Third World War. It says, see that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Before the destruction, the ultimate plague by way of the thermonuclear missiles, before the deliverance of the elect, there'd be chaos, man. There'd be and wars and rumors of wars, right? Not only these skirmishes going on outside of America, but within as well. Civil wars, class wars, race wars. You know, a standoffs between Jake and you know, these Edomite militias out here. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right. So again, Isaiah 19:2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And again, the longer you know, Trump and his administration put forth these, you know, executive orders and harsh, you know, laws and legislation, man. All right, and Jake is being affected. You know, our people are gonna rise up. All right, 2/3 are gonna lose it, man. You know, because that strain is being put on these people in America. Let's get why, you know. Second Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. Because, like, you know, with these tariffs, um, prices are going up on various foods, man. All right, various things that are imported from China. All right, because what you have with these tariffs, all right, and retaliatory tariffs between China and the U.S. Okay, China is withheld its shipments to the U.S. All right, which the U.S. is an importing country. It gets a lot of its product, you know, that comes from overseas. All right, a lot of stuff, you know, sold in the U.S. is manufactured in China. And you see, the longer this trade war persists, all right, then the food prices on a lot of product, you know, in the U.S. is gonna go up, and the supply chain is gonna be affected. Hence, and suddenly, these things are gonna happen suddenly, because these people don't know what's coming. You know, they can't even they don't see what's going on. So to them, it's gonna be sudden, but to us that are in the know and are watching for these things, we see it. All right. The only difference is the Lord is gonna protect His elect and keep us fed. All right, and provide a way for us to stay fed and to stay covered in that day, Lord willing, you know. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, these grocery markets, all right, your grocery outlets and your you know, your grocery stores and so on and so forth. All right, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, empty shelves, man. All right, nothing coming in. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. And why are people going to be fighting one against another? All right. Various reasons, man. All right, we mentioned, you know, Jake rising up against these devils, man. All right. But also because of the hard times that are coming. You know, people gonna be looting and robbing each other. You know, people gonna be short tempered just because of the pure hell people gonna be catching. You know, scriptures talk about how the love of many shall wax cold. Let's grab 2nd Ezra 15 and 15. Start at 14. 2nd Ezra 15:14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in the hands. Where there shall be sedition among men. Sedition is uprising against civil authority. Okay, so you see that now. All right, people are coming up against the government, Trump's administration and his policies. All right, online and out there in the streets with these protests and invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So people are going to take matters into their own hands and be out here running amok. 17, and a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because order ab chaos, you know, chaos, which is going to lead to the, you know, the military getting involved, National Guard, UN troops, martial law, you know. But because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. But because of these people's pride, man, all right, the Lord is getting ready to judge a lot of people for their pride. All right. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil the goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation, for hard times. All right. So you're gonna have this going on, and as the elders, bros have always said, when chaos is out here in the streets, a lot of it is gonna be because Jake. All right. But anyway, with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory once again to Yahweh Shemel Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone taught us truth, and who were well, and peace and blessings to the elect. To the next, I see Shalom.